A warm hello, my friend. Welcome to a short discussion of sacred geometry basics of 2 dimensions, based on the book Sacred Geometry by Miranda Lundy. So let's begin. First, this is not a talk about math, geometry, or religious symbols. These are ancient, sacred communication systems used by the angels and divine light beings. These are the building blocks of thought, and from there, thoughts become things. The sacred in sacred geometry does not mean holy, but rather pertains to that which is permanent, or timeless truths, like mathematical and geometric constructs that are riveted in deep meaning, unchanging, true in 10,000 years to come, true on another planet or dimension or galaxy, true in the invisible atomic world, a foreverness of information that cannot be diluted. Sacred geometry is the foundation of common sense, and the fixed laws of nature, physics, and the passage of souls journeying back to source. It is the idea that certain geometric shapes have a symbolic, sacred, or spiritual meaning behind them. These sacred shapes have been used throughout history in the construction of religious buildings, temples, and architecture. The belief that God created the universe according to a geometric plan is ancient. This term, sacred geometry, has been used by mathematicians, geometricians, spiritual seekers, anthropologists, and archaeologists to encompass the religious, philosophical, and spiritual beliefs that have sprung up around geometry in all the major cultures during the course of human history. Every thought or emotion we produce has a specific geometrical pattern. The more we evolve spiritually, the more we see the connection between human evolution and sacred geometry. So let's start at the most fundamental level. The point. Without dimension, and not in space, it is the source for all which follows. It represents source energy, or the One. The line is the first dimension that starts as the One, emerges into active and passive, which is duality. Next is the circle. The One is stationary, and the active other rotates around to describe a circle representing heaven. The triangle is when the active point can move to a position from the other two, then returning to the source, thus creating an equilateral triangle. The square. The line can produce another line which moves away until distances are equal to form a square. Next is when one circle is drawn over another so that they can pass through each other's centers, then the almond-shaped vesica Pisces is formed. It is the crucible of the creating process, an opening from which all geometric forms are born, a symbol of the fusion of opposites and a passageway through the world's apparent polarities. It is the geometric image through which light was born. It's also the geometry for the human eye. Next is the seed of life, which is 6 circles around 1. The first true and complete harmonic healing fractal pattern, symbolizing the 7 days of creation. Then is the egg of life, which is 12 circles around 1, which is the first stage of manifestation. And lastly, the fruit of life, 18 circles around 1, which are the black dots, which is formation, or the 6 circles around the 1, and 6 at each of the axes of the first 6, which are the red circles, which is also formation. As this portion ends, I invite you to view my other 2 Sacred Geometry Basic videos, moving from 2 dimensions into 3, or the sacred symbols. Thank you for the privilege of your time and interest. All blessings.